Welcome to Speaking with Confidence. The podcast is here to help you unlock the power of effective public speaking. I'm your host, Tim Newman, and I'm excited to take you on a journey to become a better public speaker. Throughout his career, Evgeniy Kharam has worked with some of the largest enterprises across Canada, the U.S., and Europe, including time spent working alongside industry leaders like Robert Herjavec. As a cybersecurity consultant, he helped major companies tackle complex technical challenges, but along the way, he realized that success isn't just about technical know-how. To truly make an impact, you need to connect with people, whether they are customers, teammates, or executives. In his book, The Art of Soft Skills and Technical Sales, Evgeniy shares his insight to help professionals combine technical expertise with human connection, making them more successful leaders and communicators. Evgeniy, welcome to the show, bud.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very happy to be here today, and thank you for the invite.
Oh, sure. You know, it's really good to talk with people, at least from my perspective, outside of the industry that I come from. And kind of what I've found is, there's a lot of professional speakers who come from that technical background. I think primarily because it's so technical, and you have to find ways to communicate with people that don't have that technology background. And I think you all are probably some of the most thoughtful in how you go about doing that. So thanks for joining us.
100%. You're absolutely right. I kind of joke around, if you put a developer and an accounting person in the same room and tell them to speak in the same way they speak with their friends, they're not going to be able to communicate.
Right.
But if you tell them, hey, pretend is somebody that is outside of your team, outside of what you do, how would you explain this to your spouse? How would you explain it to your child? How do you explain this to somebody else on the street? What do you do day by day? And you're probably like, oh, yeah, I'm going to use analogy. Oh, I'm going to use metaphors. I'll change the language I understand. I'll watch to the cues. I'll watch the language. I will understand if they understand me, or they're rolling their eyes, or they're going on the phone. It's very, very, very dynamic. We cannot just think that if we have a magic way to explain something, it will work for everyone.
Right, exactly. And we talk all the time about knowing your audience, and that's really all you're doing is knowing who you're talking to and how to communicate that message. And that's, you talk about you said analogy was the first thing. That's probably the best analogy in knowing who your audience is. So where exactly did your public speaking journey start, and what are some of the highlights of that journey?
We're going to go all the way back like 20 years ago.
Oh, gosh.
And it was a shit show, excuse my French, because I did something stupid when I was in the Navy. And as a punishment, they told me, and it's funny because it's related to cybersecurity. While I was still not in cybersecurity, I was kind of still fidgeting around. And I found a password on the computer, and I was trying to, not hack, but I was trying to guess the password. And after like 5, 6, 10 attempts, I had a phone call from IT. He's like, dude, what are you doing? So as a punishment, told me, you're going to now do a speech to the entire unit about how bad it is to do something you don't understand what you're doing, and how bad it is to try to guess, let's have a hack at something. I was terrified. Even so, I knew everybody in the room. My hands were shaking. I was all sweaty. I didn't know how to even build the speech. I didn't know what to say. I will mumble a lot. I'll speak fast. Like, the good part is it was all the people I knew. So the moment I started talking, it kind of went okay-ish. After 5 minutes, I was able to relax and slow down. But I still remember this vivid, I don't know if it's a dream, but moment. Another part, I remember later on, I was in the general office, and one of the majors was presenting. And the major was basically had a slide with different bullet points. And he was reading the bullet points. And the general told the major, dude, I know how to read. Tell me something new. So this example also stuck to me for a long time. Later on, when I moved to Canada and I started to work with Robert Herjavec for a company called Herjavec Group, I started to speak to customers. I needed to explain what the solution does. I needed to explain why we're choosing this box and not this box? Why are we going left and not going right? So slowly it came from one person, 2, 3, 5, whenever need to come to a room with 15 people and present. And in one point, this bug almost was like a challenge to myself. I know I have issue with speech. I know I speak fast. I know English is not the first, not the second language for me. So I want to get to the point when I will able to present and people will invite me to present. I always love games on computers, but it was almost like a game to me. Like, what can I do? Where can I build it? So slowly, I started to go to conferences, submit different speeches, explain my views, explain what I'm thinking, still mainly in cyber, but I was always playing and trying to do it. How can I make people interested in what I'm saying? How I can connect to people? I kind of learned very quickly that the more energy, the more excitement I put into my words, the more connection I will get. The more people will come and say, thank you. We didn't really know this topic, but now we understand. Oh, I missed this part before, but now you connected the dots. So this excitement connected with fear, because every time you go in a bigger stage, you have this fear in you. And I learned that I'm okay with this fear, because fear means I'm doing something new. We can talk about fear a bit later, because I think it's a very important topic that people don't use a lot, but it's definitely was connection to me. Okay, I'm kind of afraid because I didn't do it. I joined this call. I was not afraid. I'm still excited, but I did more than 50, 60 appearances on a podcast. I have my own podcast.
You got your own podcast.
So it's some, yes, actually 2. And this was the next evolution of speaking. With the moment I started to record myself, analyze my voice, edit my own videos, and none of the people I know like their own voice in the beginning. You probably know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yes, and this is one of the things that I tell everyone. If you're gonna go to public speaking, if you're gonna go selling online, it doesn't matter what you do, because we work online so much, so we end up speak so much. Record yourself, analyze your voice. I'm kind of jumping ahead because we can talk about this later.
Well, you're actually transitioning right into what I want to talk about, because in your book, I'm a fast talker. Normal. I mean, that's just how I am. I'm a fast talker, and I use self-deprecating humor. And when you combine that with my public speaking, that's my persona. That's what I do. You talk in your book that you really kind of embraced, you came to embrace your accent. How did that come about? And how did you get to that point where, you tell people to record your voice and have it analyzed? Kind of talk about that and why that's so important.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing and interesting topic. For the longest I remember myself in Canada, so let's say like 14 years, I was trying to go to this course, to that course, to analyze my accent, because people told me accent. Then when I started my podcast and I did more public speaking, I kind of wanted to do different challenge, and I wanted to learn how to sing, how to do rap. I don't do rap yet, okay? We're not going to rap today, maybe in 5 years. But I found an amazing teacher that he's teaching piano and voice and singing and voice. And he is the one that helped me to understand first that I have a high pitch, very, very low one, and then missing a part in between. And we're doing a lot of embarrassing exercises to actually have the entire spectrum of the voice. So this is how. And we will do actually practice of my speeches when I'll present to him, and he will help me with breathing. He will help me where to pause, when to breathe, when not to breathe. Like, hey, you're having too much air. Don't forget to breathe. You're going to lose yourself. So this all helped. And then in one point, he told me something very, very interesting that basically changed and helped me accept who I am. He told me, Evgeniy, if you lose your accent, you will become another Canadian person. Not good, not bad, but you're going to just have another individual. Right now, with your lower voice and with your accent, the moment people will hear you, they will remember who you are. So don't change your voice. Work on pronunciation, work on slowing down, work on transitioning from filler words to pauses, but keep your identity. And this actually helped me, as you say, you talk fast, you're making jokes. It helped me to realize, okay, I can be fast, I can slow down, but this is my voice, this is who I am. I still like to joke, I still like to be silly. And this really, really helped me to learn who I am. Now, I'm not telling people that listening, do that. I'm probably telling, go, and if you're passionate about it, do voice training, understand who you are, understand how you speak. As my trainer used to say, is your voice is not a dog on a leash that you drag behind you. You can work with it, you can change it, and you can do a lot with this. So this has definitely helped me. I also did Toastmasters before, and Toastmaster was an eye-opening for the filler words. And it's probably, in my mind, one of the best training for public speaking. I mean, like money-wise, for the amount of money you pay, Toastmasters is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a very good point in that I'm a big believer in we have to be authentic. We have to be ourselves. And that's one of the things that really makes you be able to connect with your audience. Because if you stand up on stage or if you're in front of a group of people and you try to be something that you're not, they're going to see right through that. And I think another one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle is we're so much in our head that people are judging us. And then when we not ourselves, that's when we get judged because they see it. Just be yourself. Yes, we need to work on some certain things, like you say, clarity, enunciation, volume, those types of things, but be yourself.
If I may add, this is an interesting point because when COVID came and we moved to present online, I didn't know what to do. I like to speak to people. I like to feel the energy. I like the live show, even if it's not physical, even if it's live, but I know it's live, then I don't have a way to stop it. But the moment you tell me, Evgeniy, record your presentation, send it to us, and we'll air it live, like it's live, this is different. So what I decided to myself is when I need to record the presentation, I'm not going to stop.
Right.
So basically, I'm start to record. If I didn't make any stupid mistake in the first 20 seconds, I'm moving on. I am pretending that I am speaking to the live audience and there is no way for me to stop and record again. And if I make a mistake, I'll say, oopsie, I made a mistake. I forgot the slide. Oh, I actually made a huge mistake. Let me explain to you again. But what it forced me to do is I knew there is no way back. And I knew I have to continue and I need to own my mistakes.
Right.
What I think is happening, and it kind of connected the other two dots, is when I listen to someone that is perfect, I really don't connect to this person. Like, oh my God, this person is amazing, but it's not somebody I can be. Why? Because when I watch Hollywood stars, they're just at a different level. But when I see someone make a mistake, laugh about it, and continue, like, oh, I can do this in the future. I couldn't believe 10 years ago I can do it, but now I know I can. So by making a mistake, by being human being, as you say, I'm actually probably attracting more people to me versus being completely perfect.
Right. I agree. And it's because they can relate to it. Just like you said, we can't relate to perfect. Because that's not normal life. And you said it yourself when 20 years ago you did something stupid, and I tell my students and the people I'm coaching, I say and do something stupid every day. Every day, I say and do something stupid. It's how we react to it, how we clean it up, and how we move forward, and hopefully not make or say that same stupid thing or stupid mistake again. And it's important for people to see that, especially in this type of environment. And so up until about maybe, I'd say 3 months ago, Evgeniy, I can't take a selfie because I don't know where to look on the camera, right? So when so now we're going to Zoom a couple of years ago, and my setup here, obviously the camera's right in my face, But when I go to take a selfie, I'm looking all over the place. So, it's stepping out of your comfort zone and learning new things and becoming proficient and better at it, and having people see us go through that process is really, really important.
Yes. And when people ask me, where do I start? What is the biggest soft skills I need to start? I'm like, wait a second. I can tell you what I think, but it's not going to be you. Right. So yes, probably curiosity is the entire idea to learn something new will be fundamental. Probably vulnerability to open up will be fundamental. But from there, you need to analyze yourself. You need to ask your friends to help you analyze, the true friends that will tell you what they think. You maybe need to find a mentor. And this is when you learn when you need to work on. I am working right now on a couple of quizzes that will help people to understand where they need to spend more time and where they need to start. But just by talking to you and tell you what's the most important soft skills, for you, it's going to be impossible. It's going to be something that you need to learn. And you mentioned video. I was talking to someone, it's like, Evgeniy, how is the video set up related to soft skills? And my answer was, it's not related to soft skills. It's not a soft skills to organize your video, but I'm using my soft skills in a video call. And if my video setup is not done good, I don't have the option to use the soft skills. Right. If I have several screens and I'm looking on the wrong screens, so then for everybody that is watching us on YouTube, you will see myself turning left. I still see team, but team see half of my face. Why? Because I use a teleprompter that mirroring to my laptop. And I use a teleprompter because I want this direct connection to the audience. And we have many people on the calls that are watching somewhere else. So yes, you have a video, but there's no way you're going to have a connection because there's no icon.
Right. And talk a little bit more about that, because, since COVID, we have really truly transitioned from, in-person meetings, in-person conferences to this video setup. And in a certain sense, we lose some of that personal connection. What were some of your other strategies to make sure that we maintain that as best we can?
You're absolutely right. Before COVID, when you will go to the office or to the meeting room, you will be able to read body language. You will be able to understand what's happening. People will not be on the phones or the laptops all the time. Right now, even when I'm moving my hands, you don't even see my entire hands because they're going out of the frame right now. So when you're on a video call and there are 2, 3, 4 people, you're basically going to see little icons. And the more people there are, the harder it is to see.
Yes.
What's happening is that you pretty much fighting now against the distraction of the people. By distraction, I mean because they're distracted because they have another screen, because they have LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube running there. So if you can connect with them on a personal level, if you can interest them in what you're talking, or find something in common, like a hook, that they will tell you a story. Now they will not be so distracted. They will be focused on you. And there's a couple of ways to do it. One, and probably fundamental, what are the hook? Can you find something related or not related to the main conversation to start the conversation? Whether game yesterday, we probably all know about its ideas. But you can not just use their background. You can go on LinkedIn. You can go on Facebook. You can see what they're writing about. Do a bit of research to understand what they're actually doing to find this hook. But we shouldn't stop there. You can create a reverse hook for them as well. Like, for example, behind me right now, I have a green screen. So sometimes I join calls just with a green screen. And people are like, hey, Evgeniy, what's up with the green screen? It gives me an opportunity to talk about my media work. People may have Legos. People may have picture of the kids, guitars, whatever is representing you could be a conversation opener for somebody else. So definitely suggest to be strategic how you can use these hooks and reverse hooks to talk to people. This is one part. We can use virtual background or real background. So if you have a real background, you can put stuff that represent you. If from a variety of reasons you cannot use a real background, I cannot use a virtual background. Ideally, I have green screen that looks nice, and you can put some stuff on the virtual background that will be cool as well.
Right.
So there's different ways. We definitely want to have a good microphone, good video, maybe some lights as well, to have a good lighting on yourself. All this create a persona. All this creates your image. With the conversation, I call it building blocks. So in the book, I show the book again. You see in the bottom, there is blocks.
Blocks, right.
So these little pieces, every chapter of the book, it's a building block. Voice, fear, video, questions, active listening, empathy. It's all building blocks that create you and represent you as a brand, as an entity, as a human being. In the end of the day, it's a human being. While we say soft skills, they're not so soft. You need to get out of a comfort zone, and we need to do stuff that in some cases are not easy to do.
Right.
And we are a very dynamic human being. Before we recorded, we joke about the idea that if I ask ChatGPT, how you doing, ChatGPT will always say the same. If I ask Tim, how you doing, he probably going to punch me in the face after the fifth time,
Exactly. And it's such a good point, in that we call them soft skills for whatever reason, but number one, it's hard work. And to get better, you have to work. It's work. You have to practice. And again, I come from the sport industry. No team goes out and doesn't practice and then just goes to play a game. The hard work goes into the practice time leading up to the game. And then when they step on the field or on the court or on the ice or whatever the sport is, that's when they have to be good. Just like if you're going to go to a team meeting and you're presenting or you're staying on the stage presenting, that's game time for you. All the work is done leading up to that, and you have to do the work if you want to be good at it.
100%. And if you're going public speaking, there's different methodologies. People say, you have to rehearse until you remember everything. You have to know all the slides. I'm a bit more relaxed. I want to know every slide. I know what I'm talking about. But you get to the point when you don't need to remember word by word what you're going to talk.
Right.
Because then I'm more focusing on what I need to remember versus actually delivering what I need to say. But this is me. It doesn't mean it's going to be you. So I want to know what I'm going to talk on each slide, and I want to know their flow, but I'm going to stop there. In the beginning, I was so under stress that I presented 10 times because I was so stressed I'm going to be forgetting something. Now I learned to work with my stress. I learned to slow down. I learned how to control my breathing. I'm doing box breathing before I go on stage if I need to, if I'm still under pressure. So I can lower my heart rate. I can lower my amount of breath I have per minute and go to this flow. And I already know how I'm going to react. I know maybe potentially will be a bit stressed when I start talking, and then I'm going to go inside and talk. I already learned how my voice sound. I already know the piece. So it just takes time. It's like riding a bicycle. You cannot ride the bicycle on a VR. You have to ride the bicycle.
Yeah, and pedal, right. So are those some of your strategies to reduce your anxiety?
Yeah, so let's talk about this part.
Okay.
I did scuba diving, free diving in my life, and I'm really passionate about breathing in general. So if we do a bit of research on breathing, our human body will do from 10 to 12 breaths per minute, usually. Okay. If you're going to be under stress or maybe panicking, you go to 15, 20, 30 and more. So now you're really, really stressed. That's why we give people the back to breathe and many other things to kind of calm themselves down. But what if I give you a technique, not invented by me, that will automatically reduce the stress and put you in the zone? One of them called box breathing. Navy SEALs used to do it. If you just type box breathing in Google, you find gazillions of sources. And the way it's done is you inhale for 5, for example, seconds, could be 4 or 3. You hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold for 5, and repeat. So your cycle right now is 20 seconds. It means that we now have 3 breaths per minute. So we just move from 10 to 12 to 3. Think what's going to happen with your heart rate. You want to slow down. Your heart rate will slow down. It will automatically force your body to slow down, and you will become much less stressed. And it's not so hard to do. You can put a timer on your phone for 3-4 minutes and just repeat this. I used to go to a washroom, sit down there and do it in the beginning because I know it will help me. There's also physical exercise, like body rotation. If you rotate, it's hard to show right now. If you rotate around yourself with the body, it will basically create a mechanism to your body to kind of self-calibrate and also reduce the stress and calm yourself down. So there's a variety of stuff. You do speaking for a long time, you probably have other stories or friend stories when they put music or they do something like a ritual to get themselves into the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I use a walk-up song that is either playing out loud or I play it in my head, and I've got 3 that I choose depending on the situation, whatever it is. And for me, that's something I'm always excited to get out and talk to people, but for me, that really puts me in the mindset to make sure that I'm bringing the energy, like you said at the beginning. The more energetic you are when you come out there and you start, talking to the audience, they're more engaged, and the more excited and the more energy you bring, the more energy they give back to you. So that's for me, that's something that I do, and especially for somebody that talks fast, it also slows me down. It slows my voice down initially going out there so that they can understand my opening statements.
There's another part that I think it's important connected. There is the science called NLP, related to psychology. And in NLP, they say that the human body can do 3 to 7 things at the same time, not multitasking.
Right.
You can drive the car, you can shift, you can be on the phone, you can watch your surroundings and stuff like that. So if part of you need to present and big part of you is focusing on being afraid, it means you taking off the focus point on watching your breathing, watching your slides, thinking about the delivery, watching the people around you, because part of you is focusing on being afraid. Yes. So if you replace this fear with excitement, then you now have more focus point to understand what's happening with your surrounding and potentially adjust your delivery as well.
And then be able to engage the audience, right? Because an adult's attention span is like 3 to 5 minutes, let alone, a younger person that it's like 15 seconds. And so we have to make sure that we're bringing them back to our message, at any given point in time, whoever it is in the audience. So we have to make sure that we're paying attention to that. And we can't pay attention to that if we're worried about our slides, all worried that somebody's going to be judging us, just like you said. Focus needs to be on the audience.
Yep.
So let's get back to the whole idea of communicating with, from your perspective, non-technical stakeholders. What are some other techniques that you use or would suggest? Because again, to me, it comes back to not just from the technical perspective, knowing your audience. What would you suggest that people, some techniques people use to be able to communicate with somebody who is outside of your industry? Let's just put it that way.
We mentioned about research, but let's do and talk about something else. We all consume information differently. Some are audio, some visual, some kinesthetic. So if you come and say, okay, let me show you slides, or let me show you a diagram, or let me do a demo, or you can go and touch and I'll explain what you're doing. It's a different way for people to learn. So one of the options is to provide options to people. We need to talk about this particular idea. We can do 3 or 4 different things. I can show you the slides. I can show you how it's working. I can talk to you about this, or maybe you have a different way. So you kind of giving them choices, but still putting a guardrail to them. Right. Now they can potentially choose. Assuming they care, assuming they want to learn, they're going to tell you what they want. This is one. If you're explaining and you see it's not resonating, it's not going anywhere, this is the time to ask for guidance and be guided. This is important part of soft skills is, can I ask for guidance or can I guide you as well? So asking by guidance, you can say, if there's a better way to explain, if there's a better way to do it. I learned that certain people like to repeat what I explain to them. And they say, let me try to explain to you what I learned and you will correct me if I'm wrong. Usually it's the audio people because they want to hear themselves.
Right.
And I think it's amazing because this way, you know if you hit the jackpot or not. But not everybody is doing that. Not everybody is going that. Sometimes people kind of afraid or they don't want to look stupid. So they're not going to ask you, say, yeah. But if you open up and you say, you know what? Sometimes I know I am explaining stuff too technically. And I think it's helping if people tell me what's the better way to do it.
Yes.
Or in some cases, I remember somebody was explaining me something else, maybe referred to the industry, and I didn't understand. And then I told them how I consume information, and they were able to change how they explain. So you're kind of showing them up that they can guide you as well. They can explain, they can tell you in the ways I understand. Definitely helping, definitely good. Repeating the same words all the time, not going to help. You need to understand what's drive the other person and ask for guidance. I don't understand. Do you understand? If there's a way for me to do it differently, I'm here for you. I have the time. We're not in a rush.
Right. And that's so important, again, to make sure that they understand. And one of the things I found is a lot of people won't say they understand. They'll say, yes, I understand, but they really don't. And again, from my perspective, I think we have to do a better job to make sure that they understand how we question them or how we verify or measure their level of understanding, especially if we're trying to sell them a product and they don't understand the technical aspects of what their product can actually do, and they say yes, and then they don't buy because they don't understand. That again, that hurts the bottom line right on down the road.
Great.
Is there anything else we didn't talk about that you think our audience should know about public speaking?
Yeah, I'm thinking if you're presenting with a friend, not by yourself, you want to reverse and understand how we do the ping pong. How would you transition from you to him to her? And in my view, when you're presenting with someone, you don't want to be stuck for a long time, just you talking. By stuck, I mean 2 minutes probably maximum, and you want to talk by yourself. Only if it's a presentation when you do half and the other person doing half, that's a bit different. But if you're actually doing a fireside chat, then analyze and understand how it's going to be done. Usually when people are mature, they kind of know these cues and they're not interrupting each other, or they know when to interject. But if not, it's a good practice to understand what are the signs. How are we moving from one to one? It is also good. If you're on a panel, it means you're part of several speakers, then it's a bit different. You want to be as concise as possible because depending on how many questions, you definitely want to stick to a minute or 2 minutes. Something happened with my camera.
Oh, yeah.
This is very interesting. Yeah, this has just changed.
You just switched it up.
No, it just did it by itself. This is very interesting. Okay. I guess it is what it is.
That's all right.
We know. Yeah, I mean, cameras. We're going to just look on the left and we'll go from there right now.
That's fine. There you go. So,
yeah.
I saw your website, and I did want to mention this before we talk about your book for a second. You do 2 really interesting events. You do a bike conference and a skiing conference. Tell me about that, because I've done a cruise. I've been on a cruise conference before, which I think is great. Tell me about those 2 conferences that you put on real quick.
So The ski and snowboard conference was
Yes.
in a way the beginning of the book. I did a snowboard instructor training, and I really liked the communication between the people during the training. So I got this idea. What if we do a ski/snowboard conference for cybersecurity? Why? Because in a traditional conference, when you see someone, you may be afraid to speak to them. When you're going to a ski and snowboard event, or if you're just on a mountain, it's relatively easy to ask, hey, Tim, I see you have the skis. How do you like them? What's your favorite mountain? And stuff like that. It will automatically transition to talking about business and cybersecurity. So the idea was, if we do such event, we'll add food and beer and leave the people alone. They're probably going to be doing quite okay. And it was actually true. So we don't even call it a conference. We call it more a networking event. About 200 people show up from like plus and minus for all the events. We did 2 in the winter. We just did 1 in the summer because people want to have something in the summer as well. And not everyone likes the winter. We're doing a 4th one in the winter in February. Definitely interesting concept, definitely good crowd. And we get a variety of people from a C-level people to students to communicate. Because everybody in a ski gear or snowboard gear, there's really no levels. You just talk to anyone and talk to everyone. Very, very relaxed atmosphere as well.
Yes. And I agree with you. I like the cruise conference that I went on, and I've been on a number of times. I like that so much better because of the personal connections that you make, and you have some time to truly interact and get to know people outside of, that normal conference atmosphere. So where can people buy your book, The Art of Soft Skills and Technical Sales?
So the easiest way is to Amazon. Go to Amazon, whatever you leave. Put my name, Evgeniy, last name Kharam, Kharam, Evgeniy Kharam. I'm kind of blessed to have a relatively unique name. So there's going to be no other one Evgeniy Kharam on Amazon, I promise you. The other one is to go to softskillstech.ca or softskillstech.com on the website, and you can put there as well. So maybe Tim, you can put it in show notes later on. You can click on this as well. This is the 2 easiest things. If you want to find me, go on to LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn right now when you're listening. Put my name, as I mentioned before, Evgeniy Kharam, and find me as well, and feel free to connect. I'm relatively accessible. I'm also doing workshops for teams to help them with soft skills and public speaking as well. So this is probably the easiest way to find me.
Well, I'll put all those links in the show notes for everybody so that they have them. Evgeniy, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. You've given our listeners some really good tips and information. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. Tim, I do have a question, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
Is there anything you learned that was new for you for the last 45 minutes?
The actual way to do the box technique. I've heard of it. I didn't realize that it was 5 seconds. So you took it, like say you take it down from 10 reps to 3 in a minute, which to me, I just think about, my breathing as you were saying it. And I do know how to control that heart rate, but trying to get that down to 3 breaths in a minute, I think that's going to be a big game changer for me in a number of different situations. Because you and I have talked, I like to golf, and to be a good golfer, you can't have a high heart rate. You've got to keep it as low as possible. You need to keep your breaths, your breaths per minute low. And if you think about it, if you've ever watched Tiger Woods play when he was in his heyday, he would walk really, really fast until he got about 50 yards from the green. And then he would slow it down. And so by the time he got to the green, his heart rate was back down. And to me, that in terms of anxiety and being able to help students in a different way is going to be very, very beneficial, at least for me from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, and by the way, you don't have to do 5. You can do 4 and 3 seconds when you start, and then gradually move to 5 as well.
No, I'm just going to go right to 5, Ben. I mean, for me, I just go right at it. I mean, we just do it. But again, thank you so much. So everybody.
Thank you.
Be sure to visit speakingwithconfidencepodcast.com to join our growing community and register for the Forming for Public Speaking course. Always remember, your voice has the power to change the world. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.